What's going on, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I guess it's happy Tuesday. Sorry for the delay. That's my fault. I talked to the crew earlier. I said, I don't even know if I want to do the show because the Giants are so fucking garbage. But we decided to do it anyway. So as usual, we're joined by Adrian down there, Anthony over there, and Chris over there. They're down there. And as you can see, we have a new sponsor. I want to give a big shout out to Do It for Sports for sponsoring this portion of Giants Collective. Go to shopdoer.com. Enter the promo code Giants Collective to get 15% off your first order. The clothes are made from plants and recycled materials and fabric that is lightweight. It's breathable. It's built to handle your whole day, whether you're commuting, working, or going out. Chris wearing one of their great shirts.
Yeah, speaking of working, I wore it to work today. I got it in the mail yesterday. Didn't know that we were going to be reading it today, but I'm like, I like that shirt. I had no idea that it was plant-based, but I guess I like plants because it's comfortable. As you said, it's airy.
We know you like plants, Chris.
Yes, I certainly like plants. We got to get them to do a sponsorship soon. But yeah, I think it's a great product, and I'm not just saying that. I couldn't wait to wear it to work today. I got several compliments actually from people at work. Like you said, it's comfortable, but it's still like somewhat dressy. Yeah, it's casual. I can't wait to get the jeans. I still haven't gotten those in the mail yet. From what I've read from the ads, they're supposed to be extra stretchy. So I'm going to be a buyer of the product, whether or not I use the code or not. I think it's a great product. I love the shirt. So looking forward to getting the jeans in the mail as well. So excited about the new sponsorship.
You know what I'm not looking forward to or excited about? Talking about the Giants tonight, but let's do it anyway. Adriana, I wish you were at the game. It would have been nice to meet you, but obviously you had other things to do, more important shit to do than go to the Giants game. What did you think about that disgusting performance on Sunday?
You know, Kyle Shanahan is a very good coach because he proves that he watches film and then uses that to his benefit. So I was thinking to myself, you know, when we got killed last week was a lot of outside runs. And what does Kyle Shanahan do with Christian McCaffrey? Outside runs that we couldn't stop it. Going into that game, the Niners, even though they have CMC, they're 30th in the run, they're 32nd in yards per carry. Not against the Giants, never against us.
That was their cure. That was their cure.
For everyone. All they needed to do was go against us. And CMC's back. Over 100 yards. We gave up another 50 yards to a backup running back. We've got a kicker who misses his kick and then has the nerve to say in his post game that, you know, he made them all in the warmups. He's a good kicker defending himself. We get it, dude, but you got to do it when it matters.
Yeah.
Darius Slayton, that drop, Theo.
I don't know which one was worse. The Theo one was equally as bad. They were both horrible drops.
The worst part is it's everything with this team is deja vu. It's the same shit, different day. Theo Johnson drops that exact same ball 1 week ago. Like, you couldn't redeem yourself. Darius Slayton, the same thing. You had your arm around it. How do you not come down with that ball? And I know that he's not a wide receiver one, but you're the wide receiver one now. Someone step up and help out your goddamn quarterback. It wasn't Jackson Dart's perfect game, but he played well enough. Marcus Bowe got beat a couple times. He was fine. I mean, Tay Banks and Corey Black. I can't understand. We all knew the corners were going to be bad. You went into this game knowing these are the corners that were trotting out there. So can you give your front four, have them get after Mac Jones, a backup quarterback? And I don't want to hear anyone. I saw people have the nerve to be like, well, we're really injured. Have you seen the 49ers who had a backup center, who had a backup guard? I'm pretty sure they had a backup quarterback. No Fred Warner, no Bryce Huff, no Nick Bosa. I don't want to hear it. They have good coaching. That's why they win football games. And that's the difference between them and between us. And until we get good coaching, we're probably not going to win another game.
I called that the Band-Aid Bowl when we were in the parking lot because the guy, my buddy DWG I went down with, he brought a Niners fan. I said it's the Band-Aid Bowl. Mm-hmm. Anthony, what did you think about this disgraceful performance? I mean, was that Mac Jones or Joe Montana back there? I couldn't tell when I was watching that.
It's really funny. Yeah, it's really funny how the Giants make backup quarterbacks look amazing on an annual basis. I remember last year they had a couple moments like that too. And now it's just, this Giants defense, it kind of amazes me how bad it is because of the amount of talent that they have that just doesn't show up on Sundays. But it really goes back to many of the things we've been complaining about with Shane Bowen and his situational play calling and his schematics. I mean, that goal line touchdown to Christian McCaffrey, he was wide open. There was nobody within 15 feet of him. And it's because, once again, Adriana makes a great point. Shanahan does his film studies, but when you watch the Giants, you watch the film, all they do is sit and cover one man. So it's very easy to create these openings in the red zone when you know you're facing man coverage. It's a pick play, you rub into the linebacker, and then all of a sudden, McCaffrey's walking into the end zone wide open. So it's just another moment where the Giants were so blatantly outcoached. And it's another moment where you realize that this defensive coordinator is not putting his players in a position to succeed. All of those touchdowns, the Giants were exposed playing this crappy man coverage that they always play. They also had the deep one to Corey Black, the defensive pass interference. Again, man coverage where you're just sticking this inferior cornerback on a starting level player in the NFL. The touchdown to Jawan Jennings, once again, stuck in man coverage, wide open. I don't know why the Giants can't just get to the times here and be like the rest of the NFL and primarily play zone. They do not have the personnel to play man coverage. They are down the cornerback 6, cornerback 7. Why would you think that it's a good idea to have that guy match up one-on-one and run across the field with a starting wide receiver like Jawan Jennings or a starting running back like Christian McCaffrey, a star running back like Christian McCaffrey? It makes no sense. And it comes down to coaching. This coaching staff is consistently outcoached. And the thing is, we can point to Shane Bowen and say, what's wrong with you? What are you doing? And many of the things I'm mentioning, these are his fault. But it's the head coach's job to say, hey, this scheme isn't working. We're down to cornerback 6. Start playing more zone coverage. But the head coach isn't making that adjustment. It's not just the DC who needs to adjust. The head coach needs to adjust, and the head coach never does. Brian Daboll never adjusts, and this team is always underprepared, outmatched, and outcoached. And so I think we have any answers to any questions that we might have had going into Week 9. Should members of the staff stick around? Should the head coach Brian Daboll remain? I think it's pretty clear and definitive now that this coaching staff is so outclassed every single week, and it has to go.
Totally agree. Chris, you and I were there live for it.
Yeah.
The best part about
the best part of the game was before the game, getting to hang out with you and everybody else, getting to drink beers, talk Giants, get to talk to Giants fans.
Some Henny coladas didn't hurt anybody except for my head.
Way too many coladas. And not to excuse the coaching, because like Anthony said, the coaching sucks.
Oh.
But this was the second straight week where the Giants just got decimated up front. Like they just got destroyed up at the point of attack. Just kill on defense specifically. They were getting killed. They were getting pushed off the ball. The 49ers had 8 straight run plays on the touchdown drive, and they weren't off the edge. Like Adriana said early in the game, it was off the edge. They were beating us off the edge. The pass play to McCaffrey in the red zone. They run the ball up the middle 8 straight times. The Giants knew exactly what they were going to do. Doesn't matter who was coaching. They just got destroyed on that drive. That was embarrassing. And then Baddog, to see a team come in from the West Coast, the San Francisco 49ers, Jackson Dart had to go on a silent count.
I said it in my post game. Exactly what he said.
He had to go on a silent count because the 49er fans were too loud for the offense to operate in their home stadium. That's embarrassing. I think there's only so much that John Mara can take. And I'm with Anthony. I think, again, I'm going to give it the whole year. We got 8 weeks, but I'm very close to saying definitively that these guys are not going to be back. They're going to fire the coaching staff. More than likely are going to fire Joe Shane. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more throughout the stream. I know that there was a story that came out today from the Post that basically insinuated that they may stick with Shane and fire Daboll. I think that's more realistic if they're going to keep one or the other. But I think it's at least strongly trending towards a clean break for the New York Giants because, Baddog, when you think about it, the team sucks right now. There's no doubt about it. But when you think about it, I think it's a pretty attractive circumstance for a head coach or GM to come into. Jackson Dart, I'm not going to say he was incredible this past game, but he looked really good on the opening drive. The offense was kind of stagnant until the fourth quarter when it was garbage time, but he made some plays. And the fact that he didn't turn the ball over with all the limitations they have on that offense, I think speaks to itself. He's looked great thus far overall. I think he's a really attractive feature for a GM and head coach to come in here. I think the cap situation, if you look at it long term, the Giants have a pretty healthy cap situation. And I think the other thing that's attractive is the fact that John Mara has given these guys as much time as he has. I think at a GM and head coach look at that and they're going to say, well, it's been a mess there, but he stuck it out with them. He gave them 4 years. He gave them an opportunity. So I think it's going to be a very attractive destination. And for that reason, I think in the end they move on from both of them because this team's a disaster. And I don't see it getting much better throughout the rest of the year. I hope I'm wrong, but with the injuries and the way they've gotten beat up at the point of attack the last 2 weeks, I don't think it's going to get much better. I don't see this team winning more than 4 games at this point. And if that's the case, I think they fire everybody.
So like you said, the best part of the day for me was getting to see you again. It's been a long time. You know you're my guy. We've been doing this shit a long time together, hanging out, eating, drinking. Great time. It was great. Walked in the stadium. It was great. Giants scoring their opening drive. It was great. That's for whatever reason, that was the one play that I filmed was that touchdown. Like it's almost like I knew it was coming. I didn't film anything else. Just that touchdown of Theo Johnson. And then it went right to shit. So obviously I have a long ways to come back home. We leave, we come home, and if you watch my post game, I'm shot, I'm tired again, my voice is gone. So I don't see any post game stuff. I said, being in that stadium, I could literally hear the Niner fans chanting defense.
You saw George Kittle in between the plays was riling up the crowd?
It was insane. It's one thing if it's Eagle fans or Cowboys fans or Commander fans or even Bills fans or Jets fans because they're close. That is a West Coast team that just came in and took over our stadium. And all I could think of is that is fucking embarrassing. That is humiliating. And I was there for it's one thing to hear it on TV, but it was like we were in San Francisco. It was embarrassing. And I saw Giants fans leaving in the third quarter. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
It is such a bad situation. This is the third year we've been 2-7. And to your point, Chris, getting pushed off the ball, I mentioned in my post game, and I forgot who it was, mentioned this, some media person. I feel like the Giants have quit. I feel like a lot of these guys have quit. And that's why they're getting pushed off the ball. They're done. They've had it. It's fucking over. And when that happens, when your team quits, your coaching staff's done. I don't give a fuck. That's it. You've lost it. It's over. And I've been a proponent of keeping Joe Shane. Fucking get rid of him too. I'm done. I'm done with everything. Flush it all. I was in that reason my voice is sore because I was screaming, fire Tim McDonald. Fire everybody. This shit sucks. It is an awful situation. I do feel like there's good young talent here. I do feel like if we get a real coaching staff, and I said this 6 years ago about Daniel Jones, the last time I was at a Giants game, if you get him an offensive line and a real coach, he could be dangerous in the NFL. And I know he had a bad game against Pittsburgh, okay? But he's been a lot better. We are going to fuck up Jackson Dart if we do not get rid of this losing culture. He was inconsolable on the sideline. His kid is taking this shit hard like it's his fault and he's the last guy to blame. We have got to get rid of this shit before we screw him up with this losing culture because it is fucking guys up. It's fucked Dexter Lawrence up. He's sick of it. He's had it. It's over. He don't care anymore. These guys are quitting. It's just you see more and more guys quitting every week. You see guys saying dumb shit in the postgame every week. Guys leaving early. Guys not addressing the media. This is an absolute disaster of epic proportions. It really is. And going into the year, you thought, yeah, it's a tough schedule, but we got Abdul Carter. We got Jackson Dart. I know Malik Neighbors and Cam Scadaboo got hurt. When Scadaboo got hurt, that was it. Done. That was it. When Scadaboo, that's like ripping the heart out of the fucking jig. I feel like Scadaboo was the guy keeping the heart pumping.
And I'm going to tell you what, I think the McFadden injury was a big injury.
Huge. Because Muasau in an NFL linebacker.
A big injury for this defense because, I mean, our run defense was bad to begin with, but since he's been, I mean, oh my God, man, it's been awful. We're 32nd in the league in run defense. I think we're 32nd in yards per carry again. That, to me, has been Joe Shane's biggest failure since he's taken over as the general manager for the New York Giants. They have been among the league's worst in that category for 4 straight years. It's been 2 different defensive coordinators. The fact that they can't get that right, and I think Burns said it after the game. One of them said it. Maybe it was Kayvon. I can't recall. One of the pass rushers said it. I was listening to it on my way back home from the game. And they said, listen, if you can't stop the run, we can't get after the quarterback. because when they're in those third and short situations, it's a lot harder to get after the quarterback when it's not a predictable passing down. So that is what has minimized this pass rush. The pass rush that we were all excited about going into the year, it's not doing enough because we can't stop the run. And you could blame it on the coaching, but a lot of that has to fall on Joe Schoen as well. The fact that they have been as poor as they've been against the run for 4 straight years with him as the general manager.
That's awful. I want to give a big shout out to SeatGeek, who sponsored this portion of Giants Collective. If you want to go watch the Giants lose, the tickets should be really cheap, and you can get them for even cheaper. All you got to do is enter the promo code Giants Collective, click the link in the description, and like I said, enter that promo code, you get 10% off your tickets. So, get as much off as you can. Go watch. At least it's fun watching Jackson Dart. I love Jackson Dart. So that might be worth the price of admission. Like I said, you're going to get 10% off, so check out SeatGeek. And then he obviously at 2-7, our season's over. And today was the trade deadline, and I wasn't home, like I said, most of the day. I didn't get home till after the trade deadline was over, and we don't do jack shit. So we saw the Jets. They sold it all, and they got a bunch of draft capital back. The Jets are, Glenn's going to be going. They're wiping everything. They're wiping the slate clean. They're going to start over. We don't do anything again. Does that point, do you think, to Joe Schoen being fired? Do you think that speaks more that he's going to come back? Because we're done. 2-7, it's over. What do you think the deal is there?
I don't think it speaks anything to what his job security or status is. I think, we'll get more clarity on that as the year goes on. But I'm glad you brought up the Jets, because I want to bring up something about Joe Schoen and where I think his job security should be. I've seen a lot of fans since, there was an article, I think it was the New York Post, mentioning that Joe Schoen's safer than Brian Daboll at this point. So I see a lot of fans saying that makes sense. Look at this roster. It's talented. If the Giants have the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year this season, you got to keep the general manager. And I immediately am like, did you not see what the Jets just did today? The last team that had the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year was the New York Jets under Joe Douglas. They used that as the reason to keep Joe Douglas. And in keeping Joe Douglas, they kept a poor culture, they kept a poor coaching staff, and they ultimately got to a point where now they need to blow it all up and tear everything down. That was the result of keeping that general manager in place despite overwhelming evidence against him being good at his job. That's what the Jets did. The Giants cannot do what the Jets did. They need to hit the hard reboot. They need to clean the slate. They need to wash away all of the stink of the last several years, in my opinion. I think when you look at this team, yes, you can look at a couple splashy moments for Joe Schoen. He's gotten some hits in the draft here and there, but he's also got the 2023 draft, which you could argue he missed on every single pick. You got the 2022 draft where he hit on a couple maybe, and that was supposed to be the foundational draft class. Even the 2024 class, he's missed on some of those picks. I don't think Tyler Nubin has looked anything like a starting safety in the NFL, and he took him with a top 50 pick in the draft. So, and don't even get me started on the contracts when you look at Daniel Jones' contract and how that blew up in his face, letting Xavier McKinney, Saquon. So my point being, there's an entire body of work here that you need to look at as a collective when judging Joe Schoen, and fans, and I fear the Giants are going to judge him based on a couple of moves. I don't really give him a ton of credit for landing Abdul Carter with the 3rd overall pick. That was a layup. Chris, Adriana, Bad Dog, myself, we all could have made that pick. We all would have made that pick. When you look at Malik Neighbors at number 6, we all would have made that pick. Those are layups.
I might have taken Odunze. I'm not going to lie. I might have taken Odunze.
Sure, but Odunze is good too. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Those are all layups. Going to 2022, he had 2 top 10 picks. Those should have been layups. He missed on one of those. If you look at the whole sample size, there are a lot more misses than there are hits. There's a couple of big hits in there, sure. But just like with the Jets, they had a couple big hits and a lot of misses. They kept that GM in place and it blew up in their face. And now they're stripping away the talent that they do have left over. They're tearing it all down and they're trying to replace the culture and start over. If the Giants hold on to Joe Schoen, I fear that we are 1 to 2 steps away from being just like the Jets, tearing it all down in 2 years, getting rid of a bunch of talented players and having to start over. And I don't want to start over because I do think there are some key pieces in place. So that's my take on it. There's more to discuss with the trade deadline. I'm sure we'll get into it, whether they should have made a move, whether they shouldn't have made a move. But you brought up the Jets, and I wanted to get that off my chest because I really believe in that. I don't want to see the Giants do what the Jets did. If we're talking about firing Brian Daboll, we should also be talking about firing everybody in the front office.
Great. Chris, want to piggyback off that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with a lot of what he said, especially, you talk about, you could say the same thing about Dave Gettleman, what Anthony just said about Joe Shane. You could point to certain things that Dave Gettleman did. He got us Andrew Thomas. He drafted Saquon Barkley. Now, you could certainly argue the pick, but he's one of the best players in the NFL. He drafted Julian Love, really good value with that pick. He drafted B.J. Hill, really good value with that pick. He drafted Darius Slayton, really good value with that pick. So it's not like Dave Gettleman did some things well too, but overall, the totality of his work, he was a shit GM. And I hate to say it, for Joe Shane, because I do think he's a smart guy. I do think he was patient. I commend the fact that he didn't spend irresponsibly his fourth year to try to save his job this past offseason, much like Dave Gettleman did with Joe Judge's his fourth year, and he put Joe Shane in a bind to start his career with the New York Giants when they couldn't do anything the first year in terms of spending money. But at the end of the day, like I just said, Baddog, the run defense has been the worst in the NFL the 4 years he's been here. You've changed 2 different defensive coordinators, so it's not just on the defensive coordinator, right? Some of it has to fall on the personnel, the players. We can't blame it all on the coaching. Who's in charge of getting the players? It's Joe Shane. The defensive line has not gotten significantly better. The offensive line, I think we're kind of overrating the performance of the offensive line this year because we're so accustomed to seeing the second half of last year when Andrew Thomas did not play. And when Andrew Thomas got inserted into the lineup, he's hiding a lot of the deficiencies on this offensive line. But when Andrew Thomas was out the first 3 weeks, the offensive line sucked. The interior is still a major problem. I didn't even mention JMS, who needs to be mentioned. He had 2 straight full starts this past game after the Giants created the interception. 2 straight full starts. Everybody talks about how good almost the field goal. If JMS doesn't commit the 2 full starts, that's a chip shot. We get 3 points going in. May even score a touchdown. You don't know. He's gotten somewhat better, but he's been a disappointment. The interior offensive line still a ton of holes. The only guy you really trust there is Illuminor, who is a free agent, who I like, but he's not under contract after this year. Giants still have to extend him. And Andrew Thomas, who wasn't his guy. He was Dave Gettleman's guy. Jackson Dart, great pick. And I got to commend him for that. The strategy not to what he feel was overdraft him and still get him where he did. You got to tip your cap there. That was a great move by Joe Shane, or at least it looks that way thus far. But overall, like Anthony said, and I'm a stability guy. I don't like to rush guys out of town, but it's been 4 years, Baddog, and the team still looks like a disaster. So I'm leaning with Anthony. I think at year's end, clean break.
Adriana, give us your thoughts on everything that was just discussed. I know there's a lot there, but go ahead. Give me a good rant, Adriana. Give me a good one. Let's go.
I agree. They all have to go. And there's a million different reasons why. And I do not want to hear, well, Daboll picked Jackson Dart. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention at all over the last few weeks, but every coordinator or head coach that has spoken, along with analysts and creators and people on ESPN, everyone is saying that Jackson Dart was a good pick and he looks like a good pick. And that's great. Okay, Daboll did one thing right in 4 years. The film on Jackson Dart was there. There were other teams who were interested in him. The Giants were aggressive and they made that move. That doesn't mean that they're the only team. It doesn't mean that he's the only GM or the only head coach for the New York Giants that would have done that. For all we know, if Mike Vrabel was the head coach or if there was a different GM in the building, they would have done the exact same thing. Maybe they wouldn't have traded up for him. Maybe they would have gotten him at 34, but to say that, oh, he picked a quarterback, okay, great. First of all, the jury's still out on Jackson Dart. Does he look like a good quarterback? Yes. Does he also still have a lot of things to improve on? Yes. I think there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic about him. But imagine what he can do with a good coach. We've already talked about this before. Daboll's a nightmare. If he has a good coach, that's going to make such a big difference. And I just think that they're doing a major disservice if they keep Joe Shane here, because the other thing that I've been thinking about a lot in like the last 24 hours is Tyler Nubin. Nick Saban said that he was the best safety coming out in that draft class, raved about him, talked all about who was such a good pick for the Giants, this, that, and the other. Why is Tyler Nubin so much worse in year 2? Why does he have no idea what's going on? And all I keep hearing from him and every other player outside of Brian Burns, because he's the only one who actually executes, is they need to execute more. Then why aren't you doing it? What the hell are you guys doing every single day in practice? Why do you not know which angle to take? Even Bobby O, who's a longtime veteran, said that there was either a miscommunication or he didn't know where CMC was going on that touchdown run, and that was on him. Why do you not know? Don't you guys watch film and review this stuff and come up with a game plan all week on how you're going to slow down CMC and this Niners team? It's like I can excuse Corey Black. Everyone else, there's no excuse.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to hear it from the rest of you. And I'm really disappointed in Nubin because I feel like he's a good football player, and he was a good football player last year. He has no interceptions. He's never around the ball. He's never in good coverage. Like, what are we doing?
Bad angles, too. Always bad angles.
But like, why? I swear he was not doing that last year. Maybe it wasn't to the degree that he's doing it this year. And it's just like, that has to fall on the coaching. I am so sick of these teams, and this goes for the New York Yankees too, that decide that they need to bring in the buddy guy who's going to be friends with everyone. We've heard it now multiple times. Like Bad Dog said, I can give you 10 different instances from 10 different players who have visibly shown or said things that can easily let you put 1 and 1 together to make 2 that they hate the coaching staff. Malik Neighbors last year, it's not the quarterback. Jackson Dart is devastated week in and week out on the sidelines that he's doing everything he can, and he's still losing football games. How about Cam Scatterbo, who publicly liked an Instagram post of a Giants fan saying, I hate Darius Slayton, as the film is being shown underneath him when Darius Slayton drops the ball, and Cam Scatterbo liked it.
I didn't know.
And you've got Tay Banks running out of the locker room to the bathroom with his pants around his ankles.
Yep.
You've got Wan'Dale Robinson saying, I hate this shit. You've got Brian Burns distraught at his locker week in and week out. Dexter Lawrence gets reamed out by a former Giant. All he had to do was go out there and not look like shit, and he has one of his worst games as a Giant ever.
Yep.
That tells me everything I need to know, that they all hate the coaches, and maybe I'm way off on that. But again, those things, 1 and 1 makes 2 at the end of the day. Like, this is all public stuff. Graham Gano having to defend himself and be all defensive that he's not the reason why they lost that game because he missed a kick. Dude, you haven't even played a full season in 3 years. Shut up.
Yeah.
Someone take fucking accountability and say, I missed that. That's on me. Where is the accountability?
If we're being honest, Gano should have been cut before the year started. The cap savings, he shouldn't even be on this year.
Right.
Yeah.
None of them. Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo are the only ones, and maybe Brian Burns, who have ever said, I need to be better. And again, those guys back it up, okay? You can tell me week in and week out, we need to execute and we need to do better. How much longer is it going to take? You have the same coaching staff for years. It is unbelievable. And I know that there are a lot of holes on this football team, but I really believe that we're a few players away from being competitive. It's about the coaching. It is statistically impossible that everyone on this team sucks. We've seen them individually make good plays. We watch the offensive line be better than they have been. They're opening up enough holes. We saw what Cam Scatterbo was able to do in the run game. We know what Malik Neighbors can do. Wan'Dale Robinson, fine. Daniel Bellinger is good. It's just mind-boggling to me that they cannot put it all together consistently. They did it against the Chargers and they did it against the Eagles. Why is it so hard to play complimentary football again? You played the same goddamn team 2 weeks later and you got destroyed.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw another video that made me laugh out loud, and it was talking about the Raiders or something, and it was just like, what do they do in practice every day? And I would like to know the answer to that too, because Brian Dable in every fucking post game, it's, we had a good week of practice. Oh, you did? Why does it never translate? In 4 years, it doesn't translate. What the fuck are you doing? I'm
maybe
so
they
sick of him. I'm
maybe
done
they
with him.
maybe they practice two-hand touch because that's what the Giants play on Sunday. They don't tackle shit. They don't take right angles. They don't hustle. I mean, there was that one play. I forgot who it was. It was on the draw play to Tanks Bigsby. Bigsby on the second and 31. You saw Abdul Carter just kind of mail it in and not run hard to tackle him. That's the type of shit that falls back in coaching. And these players aren't giving 100%. That's coaching. I don't give a shit. There's a reason that team is playing like that. There's a reason they're not giving full effort. And that's because they're sick and tired of losing. And they're probably sick and tired of the coaches. And if you don't like your fucking boss, you're not going to give 100%. It's just mental at this point. 3 years in a row, he went 2-7. It's inexcusable. It's embarrassing.
I think it's a little bit of a statement from the players. And I never want to say that because I think that so many players care and they go out there and they fight, except for Tay Banks, who consistently looks like he does not give a fuck out there.
He doesn't.
But I don't like to question players' efforts because I think they do care. But when you for someone like Dexter Lawrence to have the game that he had on Sunday against a backup center is egregious. And it's just how do you not look at that and think, and I don't want to hear, I've heard people say, maybe he's injured, maybe the elbow's bothering him, then be on the bench, or you should be on IR, or you should be rehabbing or doing something like all these other injured players are doing. And you should not be practicing if you're not healthy, because this is ridiculous. You shouldn't be on the field Sunday if you're not healthy. Everyone else gets cleared. They go through the whole rigmarole. It takes everyone weeks for them to get healthy. But Dexter Lawrence, who didn't do anything the whole summer and is healthy now, we're in week 9. I don't want to hear that you're not in shape yet. It's the middle of the season. I cannot. I'm so sick of all of them. It's so frustrating. And it's the same shit every week. We talk about the same things every week. And it's been 4 years. And it's enough is enough. And the worst part is, even if they fire Dable right now, I'm not even going to be that happy about it because who cares?
It's not going to accomplish anything right now. What does it accomplish?
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Let's see what Mike Kafka can do. Or if they fire Bowen, great. I don't think Dre Patterson is going to be a stud defensive coordinator for the rest of the season. So we're just in another lost season, which could have been prevented if they made this change back in January. And here we are again. And it sucks.
You know what the best part about all these rants are? Maybe I misremembered what Bad Dog brought up at the beginning, but I think it started with the question, what did you think of the trade deadline today? And then we all we all went on our tangents.
Yeah, well, it moved right into the next category, which is changes are necessary. So it's perfect the way it goes. I want to get to this one before we get to all the Q&As, because this one came in before we went live. So I don't want to lose this one. Dean says, thank you, Dean. Appreciate you. Said, I saw the Giants when they want to keep Shannon Dable. How can you do that and not extend him? Why would a good coach even consider a team with a GM with one foot out the door? It makes no sense.
Well, that's a really good point because he'd be going into the final year of his contract, and industry standards within the NFL would be that you extend him. You don't let him play out his contract. That was the big controversy in Dallas with Mike McCarthy, is that they let him play out his contract and then they didn't extend him or anybody on that staff. And that was a big no-no. That was a real frowned upon moment from Jerry Jones, which he's had many of those, but that's something that the Giants, I think, would want to avoid, is screwing over that many people in a business sense. That's kind of opposite of what they like to do. So they have to make a decision at the end of this year. Do we extend Joe Schoen or do we fire Joe Schoen? And I think if those are your two options, it's pretty clear which one you should take.
Fire.
Yeah, and if you listen to I don't have the quotes in front of me, but I remember Maris said, I think it was at the end of last year when they decided to bring back Shannon Dable, it was not a ringing endorsement. The way that he said it, it was almost like, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but I feel like it's the right thing to do at this point in time. Well, if he was kind of lukewarm on bringing them back last year, I don't see how they've, and again, there's 8 more games. Maybe the Giants win 5 out of the last 8. And we said it a couple weeks ago, things change in the NFL. I don't see that happening with the way that the teams looked over the last couple weeks. But of course, if they win 7 games and win 5 out of the last 8, they're probably coming back. But realistically speaking, looking the way where it's trending, I don't see that happening. And if Mara felt that way coming into the season, that he wasn't completely sold on those guys, at least that's the vibe that I got. To me, and I'm not even going to get into the off the field stuff with Barkley winning a Super Bowl, Daniel Jones looking the way that he has since leaving the New York Giants. That goes in Mara's head as well. I really do think they're going to end up moving on for both of these guys unless things get a lot better the last 8 games, which I don't really see any reason to believe that's going to be the case.
Well, and even if they get better, though, you're still talking about 3 losing years out of 4. Like, I don't want to hear some excuse from Mara, like he said last year with Shane Bowen. Like, I'm sick of watching other teams run up and down the field on us, but I'm still going to keep this guy. You can't come out here in January and be like, well, I know we had 3 out of 4 losing seasons with these guys, but they
not like a 7 and 10. It's a 4-win season.
Right.
No. If they win 4 games this year, there's no way they're coming back. There's no way.
But I mean, even if they play well enough and let's say they win 6 games towards the end of the year, like Nara cannot come out here and be like, well, I know they haven't been great for 4 years, but they got a quarterback. So,
or you have some injuries to the team.
Right.
And
unacceptable. Kyle Shanahan's not complaining about injuries when he just lost another player to a MetLife ACL tear. He's not whining about it. They're 6-3.
Exactly. I was just going to say, all you got to do is look at your opponent Sunday. The injuries are no excuse. You need a real coaching staff.
See, I see P.E. Jolly say, and we're going to get to the super chat. I'm just seeing the chat. So how do they bring a coach into this mess? My answer to you would be, if you get the right coach, it's not going to look like a mess. If you believe that Jackson Dart's the real deal, you don't think that people thought the Patriots looked like a mess coming into the year? They were horrible last year. They get Mike Vrabel. They had a young quarterback that they believed in. The offensive line got better, and suddenly they're 7-2. And I'm not saying the Giants are going to go 7-2 next year, but what looks like a mess now may not.
Who's he throwing to? You don't have any superstar receivers over there.
Yeah, so that's my answer to that. If you get the right coach, and if Jackson Dart continues to gel as a quarterback, it may not look nearly as messy as it does right now.
Yeah.
Well, that said, that brings us to the end of the first portion of Giants Collect. Of course, this portion was brought to you by our friends at SeatGeek. Check out SeatGeek. Click the link in the description. Enter the promo code Giants Collective 10. Get 10% off your tickets. Also want to say, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. We almost got 600 people in here. So if you're enjoying this show, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. You can check us out on TikTok and Instagram. You can also check us out wherever you get your podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon. If you listen to us on Apple, you leave us a 5-star review. That would help out the show greatly. Let's hear from SeatGeek. 80 seconds back after this with your questions. What's going on, guys and gals? You looking for a fun activity? You want to get out of the house? You need something to do? Are you looking for a great gift idea? Well, if so, look no farther than the sponsor of Giants Collective, which is SeatGeek. With over 35 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There's more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. Giants season is underway. And say you want to check out Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders at MetLife Stadium? Well, it's easy. Just go to SeatGeek, scroll around, look for the tickets that you want, and SeatGeek's going to have your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. That's good. The red dots, well, it's not so good. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And of course, I have a code for you guys. You can use the code Giants Collective for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with the promo code Giants Collective. Make sure you click that link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring Giants Collective, and let's go Giants! Every time I watch that back, I'm just saying, you can tell I recorded that at the beginning of the year because I was enthused. If I read that now, I'd be like,
yeah,
let's play out the year.
And a 40 in the other.
Right. Bleach and cyanide. It's terrible. Terrible football. Terrible. I had no words, man. Being at that stadium and seeing how, like I said, the Niners, it felt like a home game for San Francisco. That was the amount of Niner fans, how loud they were in our state. It was insane. Before we get to the Q&A, again, big shout out to Sleeper, guys and girls. Sleeper is the fastest growing app out there. Almost 11 million people use the Sleeper app. They have daily fantasy contests, NBA, college football, college basketball. You can also pick over under stats. You can do those contests in less than 30 seconds. You can do them for $1 minimum entry. You can win 1,000 times your cash. Check out Sleeper. Enter the promo code HMA. You're going to get a 100% match deposit bonus up to your first deposit up to $100. And even better than that, click the link in the description. That's all you got to do. Click the link. Open a Sleeper account if you don't have one. They give me $20 for nothing. That's all you got to do. Click our link, open an account, $20. Forget about it. And if you like to play Sleeper, which you're going to do because it's a lot of fun, you're still eligible for the 100% match deposit up to $100. So check out Sleeper. Big shout out to them for sponsoring this portion of Giants Collective. And let's get to your questions. Our guy, Lou Mateo, he says, change my name. Breaking news, Joe Shane thought trading deadline was tomorrow.
Well, now we can get to that, right? That we tried to do a circle about that. I'm not surprised. I saw a lot of people complaining on Twitter that the Giants didn't end up trading any, but like, let's be real. The players that people are complaining about, Jalen Hyatt, who the hell is going to trade for Jalen Hyatt? Jalen Hyatt couldn't even make the roster with Malik Neighbors out for some of these games. He was a healthy scratch. Evan Neal might as well be flipping burgers. I saw people complaining, why didn't you trade Evan Neal? Who the hell wants to trade for Evan Neal? He's horrible. And he makes a lot of money. They might as well wait till next year and take a flyer on him when he's making nothing. So, I mean, who on this team really had any trade value that you would want to trade? You don't want to trade Kayvon. You don't want to trade any of these young players. So who on this team really had any value that you would want to trade? I can't think of one player, if I'm being honest with you, off the top of my head at least.
Yeah. Well, according to Josina Anderson, the Raiders were interested in Evan Neal about a week and a half ago. So I don't know what happened there. But when I saw that, I was like, take a 7th round pick, like just get something for him at this point. And I also I just feel like Jalen Hyatt could be one of those guys like Kadarius Toney who goes to the Chiefs and is fine. Not probably to any team, but to a team like that probably would be fine. And I feel like the same way about Tay Banks. Like he is athletic, and I think in the right system and with a new defensive coordinator, like I think he's I think him and Jalen Hyatt are both completely out on this coaching staff for both reasons, like vice versa with the two of them, the coaches and the players. And I think that they could do well elsewhere. They might not be all pros or pro bowlers, but I think they would just be better football players if they went somewhere else. Obviously, no one else thought so, but I just feel like those are going to be two guys. And I don't know, maybe if we have an entirely new coaching staff, that changes. And maybe Jalen Hyatt is a rotational piece or he's just a really good returner. But I really do wonder if with a new defensive coordinator who's going to blitz more, who's going to run more press man, who's going to, I don't know, do whatever it takes to get Tay Banks to give a shit and want to tackle people. Maybe it's just about the coaching. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Tay Banks is maybe you could have gotten. So I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe him you could have gotten a 5th or 6th round pick. I see Jamie Cage says, I love how when athletes suck, their only recourse is to flip burgers. I didn't mean to come across that way. The reason why I said that Evan Neal could go flip burgers is because that's what he said about the fans. Nope. If you remember last year, he basically called all the fans burger flippers. So that's why I said it about Evan Neal.
Yep.
Go ahead, Anthony. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say with Evan Neal, I feel like they could have found a way to trade him. I mean, I get it. He sucks. The Giants don't even want him on the field, but they spoke to the Raiders, as Adriana mentioned, and other teams as well. They've been connected to rumors and reports of several teams were interested in Evan Neal. But what I read today was that the Giants didn't want to give him away. What do you mean you didn't want to give him away? You don't even want him on the field. That's what Dan Duggan of The Athletic reported, that they didn't want to give him away. That's what I read on his Twitter.
Offense. You fired Joe Shane for that alone.
You didn't want to give him away.
I just can't imagine anybody would have interest. I can't imagine anybody would have interest in Evan Neal. He's horrible.
He's horrible. And you see things like the Chargers traded away a player for like a 2028 conditional 7th round pick or some shit. It's better than nothing.
Right. Just get something.
Take a pack of burgers to flip for Evan Neal. I'll take anything. Just get him off the football team. What's the point in having this big doofus standing there in gym shorts on the sidelines? I don't get it.
I can be active 8 out of 9 weeks taking up a roster spot. Like
I can stand there in gym shorts. Pay me.
Yeah, same.
Pay any of us. I'll stand there in gym shorts and a tank top and do nothing. Trade him for a pack of burgers.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think they could have been sellers at the deadline. I still think they should have been buyers. I was looking at their draft capital this morning. Nobody talks about it. They have 3 6th round picks. What the fuck are they going to do with 3 6th-round picks? Draft 3 Darius Masuas? Trade one of them and pick up a veteran receiver who can help your team. I don't care who it is. It's better than what the Giants have. You know, like you're looking around the league, you're seeing Rashid Shaheed for a 4th and a 5th. That's so cheap. You see Jacoby Myers for a 4th and a 5th. That's cheap. If you can go one step down from that caliber of talent with a 6th-round pick and get rid of one of those 3 and trade for somebody, do it. I mean, that might be Jerry Jeudy's price tag. He went for a 4th and a 6th last year. I would imagine that his value has decreased over the last year. I mean, I get it. Jerry Jeudy, he's not a world beater. He's not a WR1, and he's got a drops problem, sure. His drops problem isn't as bad as Darius Slayton's, and he's definitely a better route runner and player than Darius Slayton. Wouldn't you trade a 6th-round pick to upgrade at wide receiver? I certainly would. So I think there was a deal out there for the Giants to find. They just didn't find it. And again, it circles back to our earlier conversation about the general manager. He's got some splashy hits along the way, but generally speaking, he mismanages this roster nearly every opportunity he has to.
Yep, and that's why, like I said, I mean, Anthony, you know, I pretty much have defended Joe Shane and said I think he should stay, but after watching what this team's doing, and again, all the things you just mentioned tells me that I don't know that he does know what the hell he's doing. I don't think he knows how to improve the team. I feel like he thinks he does, and once in a while he does make a good move, but like you mentioned, for every one good move he makes 3 poor ones, and you're not going to build a winning roster with that. And you've mentioned it before. We don't think the players like him, and this whole shit's got to go. We can't do this. They're 2-7 for the 3rd year in a row. It can't all be coaching. The players have to play well too. We don't have much depth here, and he's got to go.
Shane, to me, you know what it is, Baddog? I think we're so accustomed to Gettleman, who I actually think was probably a better talent evaluator than Shane. Yeah. Not saying much, but Gettleman was a great scout, right? So he was actually a decent drafter. But I think we're so used to Gettleman for 4 years of not doing the common sense things, where Shane is great at that. He does the common sense things. He extends Andrew Thomas after 3 years. So he extends Dexter Lawrence after 3 years. He doesn't spend high draft cap on positions like running back. He does those things well. And I think we're so accustomed to Gettleman was so bad at that we give Shane too much credit for doing the bare minimum, like what a general manager should be good at, being able to balance a cap. But when it comes to the building of the roster, we've had 4 years now. This is his team at this point. This is not Gettleman's roster anymore. And they're still bad where it matters most, in the trenches on both sides of the ball. They can't stop the run, and the offensive line, well, it's better. It's still not good, and the interior is a mess.
He sucks ass.
Yeah.
Done with him. SPP Williams.
Oh.
Snappy Collective Day. Get it? Starters prepare game food related to New York. I've eaten a lot of pizza, burgers, and hot dogs. Can I get your favorite game day food suggestions?
Ooh.
Pigs in a blanket and pizza.
Pizza, well, I love pizza, but I feel like it's not, when I'm at like a tailgate, I'm not going pizza. I love pizza though. But yeah, if you're at home.
At a tailgate, it's like burgers and dogs. But
steaks.
You know, when I'm on the couch watching football, pizza, wings, that kind of thing.
Yeah, wings. Yeah, wings is the go-to, right? That usually goes hand in hand with football. I'm going to tell you what, Baddog, the shrimp that they made.
My guy Adams, yeah.
That was out of this world. That was he put like hot sauce on it. Was incredible.
Oh, it was amazing. The steak was amazing. Yeah, my guy came through. It was the food and drink was amazing. Like I said, for 3 hours that we were hanging out for the game, it was awesome. Adriana, what's your go-to food?
I'm a wings girl. I either do buffalo wings, like if I'm home watching it, I'll either make them or order in. Or I love like a buffalo chicken dip. Just anything buffalo. Love a pumpkin beer with it.
I love pumpkin beer too.
Oh, so good.
Sunday is not my cheat day, so normally I don't eat anything till after the game, and then it's grilled chicken. However, if I'm going to do like college football, Saturday, say, I'm a big nacho guy. I love nachos. Ooh. It's a big thing for me. I just love nachos, like loaded nachos. I don't like guacamole, but loaded nachos, like you said, with a Oktoberfest, like that type of thing. I like it's good stuff.
You don't like the guacamole and the nachos?
I don't like guac at all. It's disgusting.
You're killing me. I don't like sour cream, so I guess that's weird about me, but I love guacamole.
I don't like sour cream either.
I don't like guac. I can't do
Guac though.
Yeah,
guac is
that's a miss by you, Baddog. That's a miss.
I have a lot of misses. Not as many as Joe Shane, but I certainly have a lot of misses. Kevin, thank you. He says, who runs the show if and when Mara steps down?
Who knows?
I'm afraid to
might be Tish. It might be somebody from within in the Mara family. Who knows?
I was gonna say I think it's Chris Mara, and I think everyone hates that, myself included. But I'm afraid that's what it will be. I think the best case for everyone involved is that today would be great. The sooner the better. But I was gonna say, the end of the season is that they bring in an outside consultant who is like a football scouting expert. I don't know what the right title is, but someone who's going to come in. It can be operations, whatever, because I think he's McDonald's like the head of operations. I don't know. But they need someone from the outside to come in and be like, listen, this is where you're doing things wrong. And I want this person to step in and take over, and he can run all of his decisions by Mara and Tish, but he's going to lay out a plan and say, this is what we need to do to get this team back on track. These are the people that you should be looking at to hire. This is who you should be bringing in for interviews. And this is what you're looking for from them, and give them a whole guideline, a flow chart. I don't give a shit what it is. Sit in there on every single meeting. And I also want them to step in and be like, John, you focus on your health. I'll involve you where you need to be involved, but there's no reason. Like, I'm afraid that the talk of Joe Shane potentially staying is because it's just too much for John Mara to handle. He doesn't like change. He doesn't like big change, especially changing the GM. I'm afraid that that's going to be a big topic. And I just feel like his priority right now needs to be on getting well. And this team is stressful enough as it is for the normal person like us that he doesn't need that type of stress. Let someone in with a resume that can show you all the success that they've had and say, this is how we're going to turn the ship around, and let him do it.
Yeah.
Anthony, what were you laughing about? I say laughing at something. I didn't know what it was.
Oh, I don't know. Something was in there funny. But listen, I begged for that this past offseason. I wanted them to clean house, bring in a VP of football ops, and redo the whole thing. I cite the George Young situation back in the 70s. Yes. The Giants were really bad for a long time. They brought in George Young, and he revitalized the franchise by changing the company hierarchy and structure. They need to do that again, obviously. But I'll say, Chris Mara, I have to think that John Mara is smart enough not to do that, because I actually think highly of John Mara in some respects. I think he's a really good person and a really good, respectful dude, and I'm really pulling for him and praying for the best for him. But I have heard Chris Mara likes to hang out a lot down here in South Florida, so I've heard stories about Chris Mara. That guy cannot run the New York Giants.
Go kick him in the balls.
That's where I'm going to leave it.
Go kick him in the balls.
The New York Giants. And I think John Mara is aware that he needs to find somebody else to run the New York Giants. It would be, to answer your question though, Chris, it wouldn't be the Tish family. Mara is the majority. The Mara family is the majority owner of the New York Giants. So they decide who takes over after the team president, John Mara, steps down, or, if they, whatever they want to do, restructure it in any way. It's the Mara family's decision at the end of the day.
He should sell more to Tish is what he should do. Speaking of, I forgot to mention this. Adriana mentioned Josina Anderson. I don't know. She blocked me, so I can't discuss, because I really told her I was worried about her mental health, because she just has all kinds of narratives against Jackson Dart, and she was finding anything. I said, I'm really concerned about your mental health, and she blocked me. I'm showing concern, and she blocked me. I get blocked by a lot of beat writers.
Who hasn't blocked you? Who hasn't?
Dan Duggan has not. Okay. Dan Duggan actually liked. So he had I think it was Dan Duggan. Or no, sorry, he's Dunleavy. Not Dunleavy. Dunleavy blocked me. Stapleton. I think it was Art Stapleton said the Giants their cornerbacks are practicing with oven mitts to prevent. Prevent grabbing, and I retweeted this with a quote that says, "I think the wide receivers also practice with oven mitts to prevent catching." And he liked it, which was kind of funny. So Duggan is not, Stapleton is not. Obviously, Patty has, and I was disappointed I didn't get to meet Patty. Pat Leonard has not blocked me.
I think I've blocked Pat Leonard, but
what's that?
I think I've blocked Pat Leonard.
I didn't block him, but I don't really block anybody. I pretty much.
I might have just muted. I probably muted him, but
I let people have their piece of me. I deserve it. I mean, shit. I know what I do on Twitter. That's fine. And then I know Adriana mentioned about Cam Scatterboot liking something. We need Cam Scatterboot to follow me on Twitter. That's a goal by the end of the year. So Cam, we know you watch. Follow me on Twitter. Just make me happy. I got nothing. Right? I got the Giants have sucked for 12 years. Follow me. You're like the dude. You the whole reason that I even was like into this damn team, and now he's hurt. And I love Jackson Dart too, but other than that, this is fucking. I can't. This team sucks. Zach Attack. Thank you, brother. Did I miss one? I did not. Good evening, collective. I've been ultra critical of Dable for the majority of the regime, but Shane is arguably a worse GM than Dable as coach.
It really doesn't matter. They both are not. The team's not a good product after 4 years. They've had to. I go back to what I've said the last couple of weeks on this show is chat, find one for me. Do your internet search. Go on Google. Find me a head coach. And again, the year's not over. Maybe they miraculously win 7 games this year. But find me a head coach that had 3 straight years where the team was picking top 6 in the draft. Right now, the Giants are picking second. I looked on Tankathon because it's that time of year. Find me a coach that had his team picking top 6 in the draft for 3 consecutive years and kept his job for a 4th. I don't believe it's ever happened in the history of the NFL. So that's why I don't think Brian Dable's going to be back. And at the end of the day, as I said going into this year, I think Joe Schoen had the option to fire Brian Dable. I really do. And I think he elected to keep him. And when he elected to keep him, he goes down with the ship. Period. End of story. And it's semantics. It really doesn't matter who's worse than the other. They both suck. The team's 2-7. They've been a disaster now for the last 3 years. The first year that they took over, that was Gettleman's team, if we're being honest. That whole roster, for the most part, was Gettleman's team. So I don't really care who's worse than the other. Neither one has earned to keep their job past this year if it keeps trending the way that it is.
They're ass.
Yeah.
You know who's not ass? Sleeper. So big shout out to them for sponsoring this portion of Giants Collective.
What a great segue.
Appreciate them. It's so check out Sleeper Guys, fastest growing app out there. Use that promo code HMA to get a 100% match deposit. Once up your first deposit, and click the link in the description. Open a new Sleeper account and get $20 for free. Let's hear from Sleeper. Back with your rest of your questions right after this.
Sleeper is the #1 fantasy sports app. It pays to know sports. Pick more or less on top players. Your first pick is on us, so start winning now. Play in Texas, Georgia, Minnesota, and 27 more states. Pick anytime across all sports, pregame or live. Over 10 million players are already on Sleeper. Make your picks count. Score up to 1,000 times your cash. Join today. Get up to $100 credit using the code HMA. Call your shot on Sleeper. Download now.
Sorry, I just missed the cutoff. The big shout out to them for sponsoring this portion of the show. I go back to this guy right here. And the rest of the Giants portion, I can't talk today. I've had a long couple of days. Rest of the Giants Collective brought to us by our new sponsor, Doer. Check out Doer Clothing. Chris is wearing a very handsome shirt down there below. ShopDoer.com. Use the promo code Giants Collective. Get 15% off your first order. Zach Attack. I did that one already. I really am screwed up. I'm as bad as Joe Schoen today. I am missing a lot. Jason, thank you, brother. Shane would stay, in my opinion. He has given Dable a good roster to compete. If we have a decent head coach, we're 5-3. Dable's not the guy, in my opinion.
Who elected to hire Dable and who elected to keep Dable? It was Joe Schoen. There's no doubt in my mind, if he wanted to fire Brian Dable after last season, he could have. Didn't do it. He elected to keep him. So when he did that, that's his guy, and that's his biggest decision. So if Brian Dable's the primary reason why this team is where they are, that's Joe Schoen's guy. He stuck with him for 4 years. He had opportunities to get rid of the guy. He didn't do it. So if you're going to say Dable's more responsible, Joe Schoen's the reason why Dable still has a job.
I also have a problem with Joe Schoen with the fact that it sounds like he is part of the reason why the Giants continue to trot out Tay Banks out there and act like he's a good corner, why they don't trade away any assets before they just release them in March if they know that they're not going to keep them. Like, stuff like that as the GM pisses me off. Like, you're giving up on Evan Neal. He's an active 8 out of 9 weeks. Trade him for whatever means necessary. You know, he's not a part of future of this franchise, whether or not you're the GM. I cannot understand the lack of they won't give up on players because it's saving face to the organization. Like that's not how winning works. No one gives a shit about saving the face. You know what saves the face of the organization is winning football games, which is something that they have not done. So I don't like that. Also really pisses me off about him is the fact that it seems like he just keeps guys around because they were his draft pick and he has to make something of them.
And to Anthony's point, what he said earlier, Shane has made some really good decisions. The Brian Burns trade looks great.
Yes.
Some of his draft picks are Malik Neighbors. You can't argue there. He's had some good late round draft picks. But look at the Jets. The Jets, like Anthony said earlier with Joe Douglas, they just got 2 first-round picks for a guy that they drafted in the first round. He was a talented player, good draft pick. Quinnen Williams, good draft pick. They had good players. They've been the worst team in football over the last 15 years. They haven't made the playoffs in 16, 17 years. So just because Joe Shane brought in a couple of impactful players, like the New York Jets can do too, doesn't mean that he knows how to build a Super Bowl caliber NFL roster. And if he's not capable of doing that, it's been 4 years. It's shit or get off the pot. It's time to get off the pot.
You don't know what the hell he's doing. He would mess up if that guy is freaking bad. It's just, I don't know what else to say. It's bad. We're right into the next comment. Saraf, thank you, says Shane had a fantastic draft, if not the best in the league. Taking Carter and Dart out of it, he still drafted Scadaboo, Darius Alexander, and Marcus Bowe.
Though I would have picked those guys too. Those were all like the top of the guys on my list. And I'm sure so many of us, like everyone's talked about how much they love Scat. If he was available, you know, I think he would have been picked.
I'm gonna be fair. Regardless if we like those players or not, he still needs to get credit for those draft picks. But at the end of the day, Marcus Bowe, we don't know what the hell he's gonna be. He looked somewhat impressive when he got thrown into the game early in the year, but he could end up being Matt Parrott for all we know. I know we were all really high on Matt Parrott after his first year. He's a complete unknown. Scadaboo's good. But at the end of the day, guys, and I like Scadaboo's a great pick. But is it really hard to find a good running back in the 3rd or 4th round of an NFL draft? I don't think that shows that much talent as a general manager. That's typically where running backs go in the draft. So
Kyle Monangi, 7th round?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't like to judge a draft harshly or be too pro a draft early on. It's only been 1 year. Let's let these guys air out before we call it an incredible draft class. I think it's promising for sure. I think Abdul Carter was the best player in the draft. But like Anthony said, and we've all said over the course of time, anybody would have made that pick. That I'm not impressed by that pick. The Jackson Dart thing, you have to give him credit. Whether you want to say that Dable influenced it or not, the fact that Shane was able to manipulate the system and be able to get him as late in the first round as he did, I said all along, if you love a quarterback, you got to take him at 3. Shane proved me wrong there. He was still able to get the quarterback that they wanted later on in the first round. He was the guy that orchestrated the trade. So I'm going to be fair to Shane. I think he's done some good things, but at the end of the day, it hasn't been enough.
Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, essentially that. I just don't like that logic that people have where they're pointing to the most recent draft class. Darius Alexander has barely played. Marcus Bowe has not played. Scadaboo played really well, and now he's hurt. We always say you have to judge a draft class after a few years. I think with the 2022 class, you see it's gotten better. With the 2023 class, it got worse. With the 2024 class, it's gotten worse. They've regressed. So you can't point to this past year's draft and say, oh, it was the best draft class. Listen, we're talking about Dart. We're talking about Carter. We're talking about even going to Darius Alexander, Marcus Bowe. None of them have played a significant amount of time yet. It's only their rookie season. So you can't judge on the most recent draft. You have to judge on everything that led into that draft. Why were they picking top 3? Why were they taking a quarterback at the back end of the first round? Why were they taking Scadaboo in round 4, right? Though you can connect that to all the mistakes that they made in the past. They paid Daniel Jones. It didn't pan out. That's why they traded up for Dart. They didn't have enough pass rushing talent on the defense last year. That's why they took Abdul Carter. They were picking top 3 because they won 3 games. So there's a lot of different reasons that those picks happened. And I think that's more important context than the fact that he made those picks is why he was making those picks.
Yeah. It's just lousy. This goes right into the next one. Thank you, Jason. He says, if Dart wins Offensive Rookie of the Year, Shane gets a leash. If Dart is the most won't care, if Dart is the most won't care about Neil Banks picks, we need an NFL head coach.
Yeah, but it's not just Neil and Banks. I mean, we could give you a laundry list of players, Hyatt being one of them. I mean, there's a bunch of guys, Eric Gray, 5th round pick, Joshua Izudu, Marcus McKeithen. I mean, the list goes on. Like, I know that they're not going to hit a majority of draft picks. I get that. But he also missed on a lot of them. And like Anthony said, you know, we were praising the 2024 draft class last year. They were great. And they all kind of suck this year. So, you know, I think you can give him credit where credit is due, like Carter and trading for Dart and picking Scat and whatever. But my point about the fact that he picked those players is that anyone who did enough research and paid attention to these players in college and did scouting probably would have picked those players or players of a similar caliber at those spots. I believe they're not progressing because the coaching staff sucks. I don't think this whole roster sucks, but I think you can't just say, well, Joe Shane picked the quarterback, so he deserves to stay, or Joe Shane had a good draft this year, that's why we should keep him. You have to look at the totality of 4 years. He basically gave away Xavier McKinney, and then it bit him in the ass because he was like, oh, wait, I still need a safety to play good football. And he trades away Darren Waller and doesn't get, or trades for Darren Waller. Plays 5 games, sucks. They've had 9 different quarterbacks in the building. They've had a bunch of different offensive linemen. He's missed on more offensive linemen than he's hit on. A position group that was the most important for this organization for the last decade. It's been a problem. And he's hit on what? Marcus Bowe? That's it? He re-signed Andrew Thomas. Great. Marcus McKeithen, Evan Neal, JMS, jury's still out on. Who else? Austin Schlottman and Stinney and GVR and John Runyon were all free agents. So didn't draft any of those guys, and none of them are stellar.
Yeah,
he traded away Leonard Williams and then never replaced him.
I'm kind of like where Bad Dog was 3 weeks ago with Joe Shane. I'm like, I don't care one way or the other. Like, if they keep him, I guess I'll understand it for the fact that you drafted Dart and you want to continue to build with him, and he's done some decent things in recent years. But I'm also not going to be upset at all if they fire the guy. And I'm of the mindset that I'm leaning more towards they're going to fire him. Dable, I'm like 98% like, we need to fire this guy. Because I just don't think he's a guy he's not a Super Bowl caliber head coach. And at the end of the day, that's what we should be striving for as the New York Giants. He's not that. And I think we need an improvement there. We need Tom Coughlin, not him specifically, but we need that, in my opinion. We need like an established NFL head coach that has done it before, that could come in and get this team going in the right direction. I don't know who it is. I don't know who's going to become available. Maybe you get a college head coach, but they need somebody that could bring some credibility and bring some something to build on. I frequently bring it up because I think it's appropriate. The Tom Thibodeau comparison. That's what the New York Giants need.
This goes into the next one. Rob, thank you, brother, says Saleh head coach, turn this defense around. McDaniels is OC. Saleh got fucked on the Jets. McDaniels says Tua. Saleh loves Dart as well. I think I'd rather have McDaniels just be our head coach if I was going that
I love Saleh as a defensive coordinator.
Right back.
Yes.
I love Saleh as a defensive coordinator, and he did get a raw deal with the Jets. But at the end of the day, he was a disaster with the New York Jets. I don't see how you could sell the New York Giants fans on Robert Saleh being the big hope for this team. I love him as a defensive coordinator, not as a head coach.
Yeah, agreed. And same thing with McDaniels. I think there's going to be a lot of great offensive and defensive coordinator options out there. I think that's one of the things that we are going to have going for us. Now, what it's going to take to bring them in a lateral move, I don't know if Rob Saleh is willing to leave the Niners to come here. Maybe it depends on who the new GM and the head coach are. But I'm really big on, like, I need someone who's had some NFL success. Saleh did a great job with that Jets defense, and he's obviously doing a great job with the Niners. He's a defensive-minded head coach, and he's done a great job of that, or defensive coordinator. But I don't want anyone who has sucked in the NFL, because we don't need that. And I also think Saleh, at least the vibe I got from him as the head coach from the Jets, is he's too chill and he's like the friendly guy. Like when
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is running the meeting, there's a problem there. That is not going to fly around here. We've had that for the last 8 years with 4 different coaches, except for maybe Joe Judge, and it's never worked. Joe Judge was the opposite end of the spectrum, but we need someone who is going to make the players accountable. And I don't think Rob Saleh as a head coach would do that. Maybe more as a defensive coordinator. Maybe that's just not his style, but this team needs someone to force them to get their shit together.
I wish we got Vrabel. I wish he would have been perfect.
Yep.
Anthony, I thought you were going to say something, or okay. Chislo, what are we thinking as Clint for head coach and draft Tate?
I like Clint
I love
Kubiak.
Tate.
Yeah, I like both of those. I mean, I don't know who my number 1 head coach candidate is. Everybody asks me that on Fireside Giants. I don't have a number 1 yet. I shouldn't. It's only November 4th.
You don't know
we
which
only just
coaches
wrapped
are
up
available.
week 9, so
Yeah.
I don't know what coaches are going to be available. I don't know how to look ahead to the offseason, but yeah, Clint's up there. So is Cliff. So is Kiffin. All the K's. I mean, I'll take any coach other than Brian Dable at this point.
Yeah, I like Cliff Kingsbury myself, but
My dream coach is Tomlin. If the Steelers fall off and they fire him, that's my dream.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Like you said, Anthony. At this point, I don't give a shit. You could hire anybody in the chat, and I'd be happy with that. I don't care. The Daboll is such a disaster, and it sucks because I tried to give him such a long leash that our guy Tudo would come in and say, "Bad dog, he's fat fucking Dumbo," and I'd try to say, "Just let's see what he does. Hopefully he turns." And Tudo was right. He is fat fucking Dumbo. He sucks. JD,
My brother
thank
calls
you.
him Ozempic boy.
Right. The JD, thank you. He says this franchise is infected from ownership down with cowardice and delusion, incompetent nepo babies that can't be held accountable, living off success of the past they had nothing to do with. Sell. That's one of the best comments I think we've ever gotten.
Pretty good.
That was good.
They won't sell, but I understand why
He's
feel that way. Yeah.
you, JD, you fucking nailed it. That's out of the park. That's something our GM hasn't done. Like, you nailed it. Our coach don't. That's it. Teach Joe Shane how to nail shit.
Yeah.
Nail his balls at a wall because it's time for him to go. Stone Sour, thank you. The drops will single-handedly cost Dart Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I'd have to look around the league. I mean, who's in competition with him right now? It's got to be the tight end from the Colts, right?
Yeah, Tyler
Warren.
Warren.
Yeah, Warren.
Egbuka.
Yes, Egbuka's up there.
Yeah, Abuka's got to be.
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's having a big year. Yeah. But I think Dart's got to be the front runner. I mean, he's putting up great stats too. I think he's got to be.
He became the front runner, I think, after the Niners, maybe, or no, maybe it was the week before.
I think it was after the Eagles win is when he first got the front runner odds, and then it was pretty tight, but he really widened them in the last couple of weeks.
He is the favorite. Tet McMillan is up there in the top 4. So Dart's the favorite, then Egbuka, Warren, and Tet, and Genty's after that.
Yeah, listen, if he doesn't win Rookie of the Year, it might actually be bittersweet. Because then they can't say, "Oh, look at my draft pick. He won Rookie of the Year. Look at my coach. Got him win Rookie of the Year. Look at it. We had no Scatterboo, no Malik Neighbors, and he still won Rookie of the Year." I don't want that shit. We've talked about this, and I think Anthony was the first one to bring it up, and I love what he said. Jackson Dart's talented enough. You don't need Brian Dable. And it wasn't that we fired Pat Shurmur that hurt Daniel Jones. It's that we hired another incompetent, maybe worse coach. If you hire a better coach, a guy with a track record of experience, you can make Jackson Dart better. And if you make him better, the team's going to be better. And when the team gets better, the players play harder. When they have a winning culture, they play better naturally. So
what a crazy concept.
I know, isn't it? Common sense is a bitch nowadays, ain't it?
They sold me on Garrett when they did it because I was like, okay, obviously before the disaster when he got here, but I was like, okay, inexperienced coach. Garrett had success as an offensive coordinator. Obviously, it was an outdated offense, which we learned with the New York Giants. But in hindsight, they needed to pair Judge if they were going to hire Judge. They obviously took a big swing there. They needed to pair him with an innovative offensive coordinator. That was such a massive mistake. Who was the OC that Judge reportedly wanted? The name's escaping me right now. That it came out that Mara blocked him and he made them take Garrett. I forgot who it was. Somebody in the chat say it. He had a handpicked OC that ended up doing really well with another team, I think, the next year. I don't know why the names escaped me, but it reportedly Mara wanted Garrett. I can't remember. Somebody in the chat say it. I can't remember. This is bothering me now.
Ryan, thank you, brother. Shane goes a Dable. He'd rather double down on stupid than admit I'm missing on players. This is my biggest problem with Joe Shane is he's fucking stubborn. And I don't like that shit. You have to admit your mistakes. And Adrian, it's to your point. It's called accountability. And we don't have it. And that's a problem. There's no accountability. There's no correcting your mistakes. That's a fucking problem. The first step in getting better at anything, I don't give a fuck if you're a football player, it's your job, your life. If you can't admit I fucked up, you're never going to correct it. That's the problem with him. He doubles down. I'm not getting rid of Evan Neal. I'd rather hold his ass inactive, but I don't want to give him away. Fuck off. I'm so sick of losing.
That's what it was. And he's a bad head coach, but he wanted Dable to be his OC. That's what it was. And Mara made them take Jason Garrett. That's what it was.
Oh, it should have happened because
Dable would have been a fine OC. Yeah.
Brian says he goes to Dable, he'd rather double down stupid than admitting he missed some players. Slayton shouldn't get mad if people like Neighbors catches passes. That was the beginning of his downfall when he criticized Chris because Chris said Malik Neighbors has a bunch of touchdowns.
That was so stupid.
Stop acting like we're bums. You're a fucking bum, bro. How about that?
Yeah, since that he's had more drops than catches, I think.
Right. Catch the ball. Do your job. Don't worry about what people on social media are saying. That's a problem. You start getting into why are you getting into it with the fans? You think we're just making stuff up here?
Go watch film.
Win games. Mark, thank you for being a member for 4 months. Nice meeting you, Baddog. Want to give a big shout out to Mark Stewart. Mark went out of his way. Didn't go to the game. Couldn't hang out. Just literally, I don't know why he would do this. Literally just went there to meet me. I don't know why anybody would do that. But he said, man, good luck. I sent him a gold L21. And he ran over, meet me, hung out for like 15 minutes. Awesome freaking guy. Hung out for a little while. He's like, I go get my woman, but I just wanted to meet you. And I appreciate it, man. Like
I don't think he's in the chat right now, but I want to give a shout out to B-Rog, who, of course, is always in our live streams when we call the games. He gave me a free ticket to the game. Anyway, he's a great guy. Got to watch the game with him, got to hang out with him and Baddog and everybody else during the tailgate before the game. So I want to give a big thank you to him. It was great to, get to meet some of the people that watch our channels and are big jobs.
That was pretty cool to get to meet some people that watch our channel. It was pretty awesome. But I appreciate it. He's a really nice guy, man. So it was good getting to see Mark. It's like, hang out, you have some beer, whatever, drink. So he's like, I gotta go. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was disappointed I didn't get to meet Patty. Like I really wanted to meet Patty, which is like I told me I can't leave the freaking press box or whatever. I can't even come down to the elevator bank to meet you. So I wanted to meet her because if there's any beat writer I really like it's Patty Trainer. She's a sweetheart. So I wanted to meet her. KJ, because I know you worked with her before, right, Adriana? You've done things with Patty Trainer. Yeah.
So, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is. She's good. One of the few that are really good. KJ says, not sure if it's already been spoken about. Any thoughts on Scat liking a post? Yes, Adriana mentioned it.
I don't like that. I mean, I know fans like that because they want to rag on Slayton, but I don't like that. You never want to see teammates liking posts about other players on the team. I don't like that. I know we don't like Darius Slayton right now. I get it, but I don't like players from within the locker room doing stuff like that personally.
No.
The video was really funny though.
Yeah, I didn't see the video. I have no idea. Yeah,
it was very funny. I don't blame him for hitting like. It was very funny.
Listen, Scat probably be more productive in a wheelchair, if we're being completely honest. Which that was one of the funniest videos I saw. Was the AI with Scatterbo in the wheelchair scored a touchdown. The funniest part about that, because honestly, let's face it, if Scatterbo could get out there in a wheelchair, he would. I don't know if you guys saw that or whatever. The funniest part to me was Tay Banks missing another tackle because it did. Whoever that was had the number 2 on, trying to get him in the end zone, missed the tackle, and that was.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't either. Somebody pointed it out on the comments underneath. I'm like, holy shit, that is funny. That is great. I love him.
Amazing.
You know, not Banks. He can go to hell for all I care. Go to hell. Jump off a cliff. Get the hell out of here. Go run out of the stadium with your pants down. Like I said, put your pants down. Walk ass backwards out of my stadium. Oh, by the way, I just want to say this real quick too. You can ask Chris. You can ask anybody that was with me. There was some asshole Eagle fan down there. I saw him walk by with a Brian Dawkins jersey. I didn't let him slide. I fucking reamed that guy out. Don't get the fuck out of here. What are you wearing that shit for? Garbage. I did not let that.
Who shows up to a Giants Niners game with an Eagles jersey? You just
I let that guy know. That wasn't flying in my stadium. Not without me saying something. I don't care. Socrates should at this point have Kate or Rooney run it.
I just want the team to be good.
Never happened. I feel like it's never happening again. We really need serious changes. Not Shane Bowen needs to go, but not like that's the only move we're making. Serious change. Look what the Jets did. They sold all that, at the end of the year, that if even not before, they're all going.
Of course. Well, not the head coach. They just hired the head coach. I don't think they're firing him.
He's gone.
You think they're going to fire Aaron Glenn after 1 year?
He's got to go. It's terrible. He's got to go.
I don't think he's going.
He's got to go.
I don't think he's a very good head coach so far, but I don't think they'll get rid of him.
He's got to go, man. You want to rebuild? You want to rebuild with Aaron Glenn? I don't. I'm a Jets fan. I don't, if we're being honest.
I agree. I watched the what was it, the Germany game when they played at 9 a.m. Some of the decision making in that game was awful.
Anthony mentioned it perfectly. They held on to Joe Douglas because they had a couple good players, and it fucked that organization up. If any organization's worse than us, it's the only organization worse than us.
You really think they're going to fire Aaron Glenn after 1 year?
Yes, if they smart. Yes.
Wow.
They should.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will. Maybe they should, but I don't think they will.
I think they will.
Now
that they've stockpiled all those picks, they're going to attract some.
So you think they pull the Patriots when the Patriots hired Gerard Mayo for a year and then they brought in Vrabel? It's possible. It's possible.
They're going to learn from within their division, like the Giants should do, but they can't. Watching all these teams in our division get better today while we sat with our thumbs up our asses.
Yep, that's what we do. Shane likes that shit, I guess. I don't know. Our guy SPP Williams doubling down today. The man at 1:45. Actually, is it 1:45 or I don't know if you guys went back an hour. You might be 6.
They're 6 hours ahead of us, I think.
They're 5 hours usually, but we went back an hour this weekend. I don't know when they go backwards, so I don't know what time it is over there. I know it's late.
I don't know. I think it's only an America thing.
No, England does it too.
Oh, really?
They do it too. Yep, they definitely do it too.
By the way, we need to get rid of that. I know there's a football show. We got to get rid of daylight savings.
There are some states that don't do it, so
I'm sick.
That's
of
why
I get out of work today. It's like 4:45. I get out of work at 4:15. By the time I get to the train at 4:30, it's already dark.
I know it sucks. We were driving to Manhattan. We got in there at 5 o'clock. It was dark yesterday.
Ridiculous.
No traffic. Weirdest shit. Got into Manhattan, barely hit any traffic at 5 o'clock. And I don't know what the hell happened down there, but
wow,
that's never happened before. SPP doubling down. He says, sorry to say, but I think there's a very good chance we don't win any more games. So thank you, all of you, for doing Giants Collective. We appreciate you. We wouldn't do it without you guys. We wouldn't be here without you.
Let me see their schedule. Where's their wins coming from?
We're going to beat the Raiders, I think.
The Cowboys now are going to, they got Quinn and Williams. So, not that it's going to fix that entire defense.
We lost the Cardinals.
They're going to try.
Their defense will be better now. They're not beating the Packers. They're not beating the Lions. They're not beating the Patriots. They may beat the Commanders. The Commanders are not very good.
Raiders.
They may beat them. The Raiders, they have a chance. The Cowboys, I'll give them a slight chance. Viking, they might win 2 more games. But then I don't see them winning more than 4 games this year.
Go ahead, Anthony.
I still think they're going to sneak a couple wins unexpectedly out just because Jackson Dart. I think he's going to sneak a couple wins, like on top of the 2 that they maybe should win. I don't know that they should win any, but Chris, you mentioned that there's a couple that you could see them winning. I think they're going to win 1 or 2 of the ones that you can't see them winning because Jackson Dart's going to find a way.
So you think they'll upset either the Patriots or the Packers? They're not beating the Lions.
Pretty much.
Maybe
They're
the
not going to beat
Bears.
the Lions. I think the Packers are super beatable.
Oh,
I
I
think they're
missed
one of
the
the most
Bears. Yeah, they
overrated
could beat the
teams in
Bears.
football this year. Yeah, they could win this weekend against the Bears.
Yeah,
I know
they
we'll
could
get
beat
into
the
that on Thursday, but I don't know. I just think Jackson Dart, like the way that he plays, he's so relentless, and he wants to win really badly. Even if the rest of the team doesn't, I think that there's going to be a week where he finds a way to get it done.
I agree. He'll have fun to win a couple of games, but I don't.
Every fucking year. Every year. It does not. It just. LA Lou, thank you so much. Congratulations to your Dodgers. I was glad that I called Game 7 of the World Series. It's one of the best games I've ever watched.
Greatest World Series of all time.
That was an amazing game.
Greatest World Series of all time.
Incredible. And I had to go to New Jersey the next day, and I told those guys in the seventh inning, I'm dying. And I got to like the ninth, I'm like, I can't do extra innings. And I just kept going. I'm like, I don't want to turn this off.
I was trying to think, Baddog, after I watched that game, because of course that series also had the 18-inning game in it too.
I wasn't going 18. I got to tell you that.
I was trying to think after the conclusion of Game 7, in my lifetime, what was a World Series that was even close to on par with that? And I remember the 97 series, the Marlins, and I forgot who they played, but the first World Series, the Indians, that went 7, and I think it went to extra innings, if I'm not mistaken, and Renteria. And you guys lost, but the Yankees Diamondbacks was a great
series, even though we lost
in 2001. But I don't think anything compares to that one. This last one was incredible.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Luke says you have talent, but you need the brain. By Bowen. By all of them. By all of them. That's one part of this brain. And the brain is fucked up. Too many Henny Coladas collectively in this organization. I was hurting when I got home. I'm gonna tell you that. I was feeling that shit. I needed it. I mean, how else are you gonna get through a Giants game?
It's true.
A-Train. I remember eating steak in the back of the DWG's car on the way home. I remember that. It was good. Hey, but my fantasy team's 9-0, so go me. I might go undefeated this year. It's crazy. I got a really, really consistent team. Even though Daniel Jones turned the ball over 5 times, he still got me 20 points because he threw for 342 yards and had 2 touchdowns. Adrian says, how you guys feel about Spags as head coach?
It's the same thing that for me at least, it's the same thing that Adriana said about Saleh, where he's a great defensive coordinator, but the time in which he's had his opportunity as a head coach, he was horrible. So it's not something that but the fact that he's got Giants roots, I'd be a little bit more excited about him. And being a Giants fan, I've always wanted to see him get another opportunity because he didn't really get much of one with the Rams. So I'd be excited about it, but do I think it's the right decision? No. Yeah. Incredible defensive coordinator, belongs in the Hall of Fame, might be the greatest defensive coordinator of all time, or one of. But one of. Yeah, that's why I said one of. But I don't think it would be the wisest choice to make him the head coach.
Anthony, what do you think about that? Spags? Yes, no, maybe so.
I like Spags more than I like Saleh. I think that Spags could potentially do a good job in the right situation. I just don't think he wants to be a head coach. He gets paid like a head coach to be the best defensive coordinator in the league. I think he's going to continue to get paid like a head coach for being the Chiefs defensive coordinator. I just don't see the incentive for him.
Running over, so I'm going to try to fly through these as quickly as possible. Your boy has not eaten since like 9 o'clock this morning, and I'm hurting. Like I said, I've had a long couple of days, and I get to stream at 9:30. It's crazy. Barrett says we haven't drafted very many good players. While Shane is to blame, do you think we may also have horrible scouting? Whoever else is in charge of player evaluation.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's the entire organization. I don't think a lot of times people like to pin it on one person, like Daniel Jones or Joe Judge, or it's not one person. There's a lot of things that is wrong with this organization. Scouting, there's a lot.
Yeah. And on top of that, our director of player personnel is Tim McDonald, who everybody agrees shouldn't have that position, but that's the guy who does a lot of the pro personnel scouting. So judging which players should and shouldn't be on the team, who can we afford to lose, who should we let walk in free agency, who should we extend, also around the league, who should we sign? And a lot of that has been the issue as well. So again, there's a lot of blame to go around.
Ass. That's one word for it. Ass. Bob, thank you, buddy. Good to see you. Last second trade, the Giants trade for defensive end Nowan Atal. Get it? No one at all. I'm tired. And I like a good dad joke. I want to tell you. I'm corny. I don't know what to say. Andrew, thank you. He says, what about the old Bengals defensive coordinator? I can't remember his name, but he was a leader of men.
Was it Lou Anarumo?
Yeah, I think that's who.
Where is he now? Is he with the Colts?
I think he is.
He might.
Yeah,
be.
I think he is.
And that defense is sick. He's a good coach.
I wouldn't mind.
Bengals made a
I wouldn't
mistake
mind a
letting him go.
defensive-minded head coach. I'm just more.
Yes.
I'm more of the mindset where I want, if they do that, which I'm completely open to. I don't need it to be like an offensive guy or a quarterback guy. I would personally prefer somebody that's had some success as a head coach. Maybe not even necessarily at the NFL level, maybe at the collegiate level, but that's just my mindset.
Bring in Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, well, he's an offensive guy, but yeah.
Well, he's darts guy, right? So
yeah. I'm gonna tell you what, Baddog, though, I was watching the Ole Miss game, and I guess things could change, but the way that he was talking about Ole Miss, I don't think he's leaving there. I think he's gonna stay there. Lane Kiffin.
$1 million man said everybody got a price.
That's true.
Got that. Johnny, our buddy Johnny Letourneau says, I love you guys. I'm happy your team is suffering. Well, isn't that a bitch? Hopefully you guys get another Super Bowl to top. Yeah, well, that'd be nice if we got another Super Bowl. My kid might be my age by the time it happens, and he's 8, but, and I'm 50.
I think he's referring to the Eagles. He said, hopefully we can get another Super Bowl.
I think he means us. Top of the year, that'd be, no, I know he doesn't mean that.
Oh, okay.
And he says, fly Eagles right into the side of a building. I'm going to say it again, Johnny, I love you. Fuck Philadelphia and fuck them hard. I can't stand that fucking team. I hope they all crash and burn. And that's the way I feel. I hope you go out in the first round of the playoffs. Fuck the Eagles. That's the way I feel about that. No sugarcoating shit here.
I hope they crash out and don't even make the playoffs.
It's never going to happen.
That'd be even better.
Yeah, he's not good enough to keep them out of the post. They're going to win this division. I mean, they got like a 9.
I know. Ugh. That's another thing that frustrates me is we just couldn't get our shit together this year because the Cowboys and the Commanders both suck. And now Daniels is probably out for the whole season. And we couldn't decide that this year we were going to fucking step up to the plate and make a run at the division.
Speaking of Daniels, I was thinking about this today on the train ride into work. How crazy is the NFL? I said, and I think a lot of people agreed with me going into the year, that Jaden Daniels was the best quarterback in the NFC after the year that he had his rookie year as a pro. You could make a strong argument now he looks like the third best quarterback in that rookie class. Drake May's the NFL MVP right now, or he's in the top 2 or 3, and Caleb Williams has looked terrific the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's just crazy that, and a lot of that has to do with the injuries with Jaden Daniels, but it's just crazy how things change.
Year-to-year league, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I love Caleb. I love Caleb Williams. Dean, thank you, buddy. He says, I really can't stand Slayton. What good is a wide receiver with no hands? I never wanted him back. We need some real playmakers. Wandale can go too. He's frail. Yeah.
I like Wandale, Dean, but it depends on what his market is. But I like Wandale. I think he's tough. I think he fights for extra yards. But, if there's a team willing to give him a decent amount of money, I'm not bringing him back. But I actually like Wandale.
Seen better hands on a clock than Darius Slayton.
Oh, I'm done with Darius Slayton.
Anybody not?
It's personal with you and Darius Slayton, Chris.
I don't hate Darius Slayton. I felt bad when he did it, but I'm just done with him. Like I readily admit, I thought it was a really good signing. I didn't expect him to be back with the New York Giants. I thought he would sign elsewhere. I give him some credit. I do think he's proud to be a Giant. He's taken less money to stay here in the past. I like the way that he stood up for Daniel Jones. But at the end of the day, the guy just drops way too many balls. He just drops way too many balls. And he's not a starting caliber wide receiver. He's just not. He's not.
I had that dude having 1,000-yard season this year.
We all liked him coming into the year. We all thought he was going
to have such a big year. And
yeah.
God almighty, what a letdown. Bush Kid, thank you. Bad Dog, can you and New York Giant fangirl do a rant about how bad this was for a Giants trade deadline? I think we did. I think we did that a little bit earlier. I actually told her to go ahead and rant. I'm proud. It's like Chris doesn't really ever like. I'm waiting for a good one from. Like I saw Anthony do it one day on Instagram, and I loved it. I'm like, yeah, I knew that was in there. I know each one of these people. I know they all have it. They all have an inner bad dog somewhere. Everybody's got that guy in there or girl. They some have a better tolerance than me, but it's there. So when they go, I'm like, yeah, I like that shit.
I think people grieve differently. People react differently. Me, I told you I reacted. The worst moment I think it's the worst moment for me as a New York Giants fan in my life was the Eagles game where Deshaun Jackson returned the punt. You, I'm sure, Bad Dog. I obviously didn't know you back then. I'm sure you were breaking your TV. You were screaming at the top of your lungs.
I was at my friend's house.
Cursing at everybody, giving people the middle finger in traffic. The way that I reacted
the way that I reacted
after that game, because I was getting a lot of texts from Jet fans, right? Because I was friends with a lot of Jet fans. They were all ragging on me. I took my phone, I turned it off, and I didn't turn it back on for 3 days. I couldn't think about football for 3 days after that game. So everybody reacts differently. Me, I just turn my brain off when things get like that. That's just me. But Bad Dog, he lets it out, and I appreciate that. Entertaining.
I gotta be that way. LA Lou. People got so accustomed with sometimes when shit's bad, I think they just want me to rant because they want to hear somebody do it. And I'm like, I don't just do it to do it. Like when I go, it's because I'm mad.
Yeah.
The only reason I didn't yell Sunday night is because I literally physically couldn't. Otherwise I would have. Lou says he scored 24 but gave up 34 but 7 were garbage. I actually left when it was 34-17. My buddy's like, after San Francisco scores this touchdown, let's leave. Even by that point, it was all right.
Let's be honest. And I'm not trying to take away from Jackson Dart. He played well. The offense was awful in that game. They scored some style points in the fourth quarter when it was garbage time. The offense did nothing from the first drive all the way up until the beginning of the fourth quarter when the game was well out of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All righty. C-Bones, thank you, brother. This search demands a GM and a head coach that can attract front office and assistant coaching talent. Nobody wants to work for Shane and Dable. Seems that way. Seems like with Dable, we've had issues. We saw it with Wink. Anthony's mentioned of players don't really care for Joe Shane. And again, I've stuck up for Joe Shane, but I think you just got to get rid of all of it. You have some attractive pieces here for a GM to build around, for a coach to coach. Bring them all. Bring everybody new in. Get a GM in here that hires his head coach. Let the head coach hire his coordinators, and let's go.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. Well, with that said, we went really over time tonight. Appreciate all the generosity in the chat. Obviously, we're not the only ones that are pissed off. I want to give a big shout out to all the sponsors tonight. We definitely appreciate them coming aboard. Of course, Doer, the new sponsor. Check out shopdoer.com /Giants Collective. Get 15% off your first order. You can see the handsome shirt Chris is wearing. Not only do they have shirts, they have denim jeans and a lot of other things you want to check out. Get 15% off of that. As always, we want to give a big shout out to Sleeper and SeatGeek as well for sponsoring the channel, or the show rather. Check out SeatGeek. Use the promo code Giants Collective 10 to get 10% off your tickets. Check out Sleeper. You get a 100% match deposit bonus up to $100 just by clicking the link in the description. And if you don't have a Sleeper account, want to open one, use our link. You get $20 for opening an account. You don't have to put in a credit card, debit card, don't have to make a deposit. You just get $20 for opening an account by using our link. So check that out. The promo code is HMA. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts. Please like and subscribe. You can also check us out on TikTok and Instagram. I can't believe I got through all that without screwing up. I probably did once, and I don't remember because it's been a long 2 days for me. But as always, we love you guys and girls. Thank you for supporting us and sticking with us to another shitty year. And hey, we only have 8 more weeks to go, so that's not really that bad. It's 8 more. We were more than halfway there, guys. It's all downhill from here. So for Adriana, Anthony, and Entertainah, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you Thursday. We talk more about this shit show. Enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see you in the next one. We out. Peace.